Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the combined agenda and regular meeting of the Monroe Township Council on this date of February 6, 2023. We will rise to honor our flag, and I would ask that we all remain standing for a minute in remembrance of the councilwoman Eunice Duamfor of Sayreville, who was murdered. And so we ask to do that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A moment of silence, please, for the councilwoman. Thank you all. Be seated. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Miriam Cohen,
Present.
Councilman Charles DePiero,
Here.
Councilwoman Elizabeth Schneider,
Here.
Councilwoman Rupa P. Siegel,
Here.
Councilman Terrence Van Zura.
Here.
Please let the record show that Mayor Delina is absent this evening as his father-in-law has recently passed. Please keep him and his family in your thoughts.
Thank you. Would you please read the Sunshine Law into the record?
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice has been provided by the following. 1, posted on the bulletin boards within the municipal building on December 30th, 2022, and remains posted at that location for public inspection. 2, printed in the Home News Tribune and the Cranberry Press on December 30th, 2022. 3, posted on the Monroe Township website. And 4, sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. In accordance with Chapter 3, Section 17 of the Monroe Township Code, public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes unless further time is granted by the council president.
Thank you. Item 5 in our agenda, I would like to call on George, our finance director, please. Come to the microphone.
Tonight we're honoring Abby, who's retiring after over 25 years. Yeah, we wish her well with her retirement, and like I said, she gave us over 25 years of dedicated service. Through Abby's due diligence, she probably saved the township of Monroe taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars, making sure the township always paid the lowest price in all her years. Now it's her time to enjoy her life, her grandkids, travel. You know, it's been a pleasure working with you, Abby.
Abby, please step up.
I'll read the plaque. Abby D. Goldman, in recognition for 25 years of outstanding service to the Township of Monroe, wishing you the best on your new adventure and with much respect and gratitude. Congratulations, Mayor Stephen Delina and the Monroe Township Council, dated January 1st, but yeah, yes, that's what her retirement is.
Abby, would you like to say a word or two before he takes your picture?
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure working with all of you. And when I came here on the first day, I never thought I'd be here for 25 years, but I had so much fun arguing with the vendors and making sure we got the best price. I'm going to miss you all. Thank you.
Taking your picture. Of course I do. Abby, I wouldn't run away so quickly. I would think that our council members who have worked with you would also like to say a few words. I'm going to begin at my left. I did that because you teased me when I came in.
Oh. All good. Well, Abby, I know you and I worked together a short time, but it has been wonderful to meet with you. I always know when I walk in, you have a big smile waiting. So thank you. Congratulations. I wish you all the best on your retirement, and thank you for all that you've done over the years.
Council Vice President, please.
Abby, congratulations. 25 years is a long time. I think all of us here sincerely appreciate everything that you did, especially the part about the saving the money. because that saves everybody's money. So nobody can complain about that. But just, it's nice to have people who work here. It's also nice to have people that work hard, but also have, a nice, friendly face and make it easy for the other people around them. And you fill all those qualities. So thank you so much for all you've done, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Councilman DePiero, please.
Thank you. Abby, I remember, like it was day one, and now it's day 20, 25 years later. Like you said, it's a pleasure. Yeah, I worked with you many times through thick and thin, and I want to thank you. You're always professional. You did a great job for the town and for the coworkers. And as you see them in the audience to support you and your family too. So enjoy your retirement, and thank you for everything you've done the past 25 years for us. Thank you.
Councilwoman Schneider, please.
Abby, I will miss you. You brought me in so many gluten-free things. I'm going to miss you. All I can say is from the minute I met you, not quite 9 years ago, you're, like they said, your wonderful smile, your professionalism. But I know you want to enjoy your family, your grandchildren. So I will miss you, but thank you for all your wonderful, wonderful years you gave us. And just enjoy, Abby. You're a wonderful person.
Mr. Weinberg, and then I get my turn.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Council President. Well, I would just comment, it's been a delight to work with Abby over the past 6 years. I don't think people realize how complicated the local public contracts law is and how much effort goes into it. And the mention by George about how much money we've saved was literally, making sure that we were always getting the best price. And that is a great value to the taxpayers. And she will be greatly missed. And the banter that we've had will be greatly missed. And I wish you nothing but great success in retirement.
And our township clerk, Patty Reed.
I would also like to thank you on behalf of my office for the friendship, for working together. And it was not just the vendors, like whenever a department head would call and want something, I would say, have you run it through Abby? Because that's she's the gatekeeper. If she says everything's okay and we got her approval, then it's good to go on. And I knew if you did, then I didn't have to check anything. Your work was impeccable, and we really appreciate everything that you've done.
Well, Abby, we had conversations about holiday meals and which brand of matzah we might prefer to another one. Some years that could have been just the whole holiday. 8 days should go pretty quickly. Your grandson worked at the pool as a lifeguard and was one of the most popular lifeguards we had in our community. And when he wasn't there the following year, I got looks from people to see maybe you had something to do with this, his not being there. When I was first appointed to the council by Mayor Tamburo, it was he who said to me how wonderful you were, that your work was always impeccable, and that we were fortunate that you worked for us.
Yeah.
If Mayor Delina were here, I'm sure he would have the same comment to make. You were an exemplary employee, you were an exemplary coworker, and you're an exemplary friend. And we truly, truly wish you well, good health, much mazel, and have another good 25 years on your own. Thank you, Abby. Now, we think there are a couple of people who would like pictures. So we're going to take 2 minutes, no more than 2 minutes. We have a busy agenda, to please get some pictures.
If we could get Abby with her coworkers.
Meeting is again called to order. An additional proclamation for this month is American Heart Month is February of 2023, and Rare Disease Day is February 28th, 2023. And I believe we had our Wear Red for Women Day to encourage recognition of greater risk for women of developing heart disease. Item 6, please, our ordinances for second reading. That will be read at the regular meeting.
Read them now,
Please
Council
do.
President. Ordinance O-1-2023-001, Supervisory Personnel 2023 Salary and Wage Ordinance for the Monroe Township, Middlesex County. O-1-2023-002, Ordinance fixing 2023 and through 2026 salary and wages for private party billing for police department personnel. Ordinance O-1-2023-003, ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a traffic control signal located at the intersection of Forsgate Drive and Rossmore Drive in the Township of Monroe, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey. O-1-2023-004, ordinance amending Chapter 76 of the Monroe Township Code entitled Peace and Good Order to include Section 76-1A31, prohibiting the trespass upon private property for the purpose of tampering with or committing the theft or unlawful taking of a motor vehicle and prescribing the penalties therefor. O-1-2023-005, ordinance amending Chapter 108 of the Code of the Township of Monroe to align with the state requirements for electric vehicle supply service equipment, EVSE, and make-ready parking spaces.
Yes, item 7 is the ordinances for introduction at the regular meeting, beginning with ordinance 006, please.
Ordinance 2-2023-006, ordinance authorizing the acquisition by negotiated agreement or eminent domain of real property and/or property interests required for a roadway improvement project on Prospect Plains Road from Stonecker Drive to Applegarth Road. O-2023-007, bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Monroe in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, appropriating $7,105,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $6,766,000 bonds or notes for the township to finance part of the costs thereof. O-2-2023-008, bond ordinance providing for various open space recreation improvements in and by the Township of Monroe in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, appropriating $4,650,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $4,428,500 bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof. O-2-2023-009, ordinance authorizing the acquisition of Block 62, Lot 3.05 on the official tax map of the Township of Monroe, more commonly known as 319 Spotswood Gravel Hill Road. O-2-2023-010, ordinance amending Chapter 79 of the Code of the Township of Monroe entitled Police Department Rules and Regulations, specifically Section 79-90.1, entitled Specific Qualifications.
Item 8 is resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda at the February 6th regular meeting, and they are R2 2023-060 through R2 2023-091. Any council members have questions or concern about wish to be exempt? Oh, of course you do.
I have 5.
5, very good. Please, Councilman DePiero.
All right. R2 2023-067. R2 2023-078. R2 2023-080. R2 2023-085. R2 2023-089.
Very good, thank you. Any other council members have any concerns about? Okay, moving right along. We seem to have a plethora. We move to the public comment section of our agenda, limited to agenda items only. 5 minutes per speaker. May I have a motion to open the public comment section, please?
So moved.
May I have a second on that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Please, yes,
Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. The resolution. Maybe it's one of the new. Oh, I'm sorry. The affordable housing ordinance for the first reading tonight. 0220230009. Can that just be explained?
Of course. Of course. Mr. Weinberg, would you please?
Thank you, Council President. That would be related to the acquisition of the Meadowview Care Center, which was closed approximately maybe a year and a half ago. It would be the township purchasing the facility. The funds to purchase the facility are included in the bond ordinance, but the down payment is part of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. The plan of the township would be to ultimately work with a nonprofit organization that would renovate the facility with the assistance of state and county grants and federal tax credits to create senior affordable housing within the township.
Now, does that affordable housing proposal, or you're looking into the future, does that have anything to do with the ongoing affordable housing and the fair share that we're putting up now? Or is that in addition to our obligation?
It's not currently part of our plan, so it could go to a future obligation, or for some reason, one of the projects that was in our current plan fell short, it would
Right.
be used to make that
So
up.
right now, we're not calculating it as part of the obligation
No,
for
ma'am.
seniors.
Correct.
Because we have 850, right? And part of that is for senior.
Correct. We can use, up to 25% of our affordable housing can be seen, age restricted.
And I apologize for repeating. I just want to be clear.
It's okay, it's fine.
That this is perhaps for future. I think we're considered in the third round of
We
affordable
are,
housing at this
yes.
time. So if I ask the question properly, this is not going to be part of our third round obligation at this time, unless you say,
Yeah, unless for some reason, one of our projects drops out and we have to ask the court to allow it, but otherwise it would be used for our fourth round obligation. So you got the nomenclature correct.
okay, so
Could I add one thing, Council President, when you're done? If you
go ahead. And then
So by building this at what would be probably 30 units of senior housing in the fourth round, as you rightly articulate, we would save 120 market rate units because we would have built our own units that
Correct.
wouldn't require any 4-to-1 ratio.
Always the advantage of.
right. And at this time, the proposal is, or the intent is, that this will be 100% senior affordable housing?
Correct.
And does that say that, will that be clear in this ordinance? You don't have to answer me now. I mean, if I pull the full ordinance, will it say that that is the intent?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. Are we in a fourth round already? Or is the state talking about a fourth round of affordable housing?
Lou, do you want to?
Yes, well, yes. The answer is it's being talked about, it's being planned for. I think that the legislature is probably also trying to decide what they're going to do, but yes.
Okay, and since this is part of it, or if there is a fourth round, where is our obligation coming from? Because aren't we just building to the third round affordable housing obligation, or are we building beyond this, I don't know, 6,000 units that include the affordable housing?
You'll forgive me for a lawyer answer?
Okay.
The answer is I don't think anybody really knows.
No,
And the
okay.
reason why, as you know, because
I don't forgive you. I think that's a great answer.
as you know,
'Cause it's
the
the
third
truth.
round took
a while.
15 years before they could figure out what the third round numbers were. So right now, there are no COA regulations because they all got tossed. There's no legislation there's no court cases, there's no nothing until 2025 when people can start to file declaratory
Again,
judgment
right, because
actions.
our obligation at this point on third round is up to 2025.
Correct.
Okay, I would just hope that this council would be very cognizant about new projects that would then put us into another round in the fourth round of COA to, again, over expand our community in like a ridiculous amount.
Yeah,
Thank you.
just to add one thing, if I could, Council President, the number is 850 is correct, and the number that goes with that is 4,300 total. Just
Okay,
to be
thank you.
clear. Yep. Thank you.
I didn't have it with.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address us during the agenda session, please come forward now. Seeing and hearing none, I'd like to ask for a motion to close the public comment section.
Motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. May I entertain, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn the agenda session, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Time
Time is,
clocks are wrong.
oh, the clocks are always wrong.
6:54.
6:54, the agenda,
Apple time.
Apple time. The agenda meeting is closed. And we will now move to our regular meeting. This meeting is called to order. May I have a motion?
So
Motion.
moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Time, you have time again.
6:55.
Apple time. On my left is, I don't know, is it on my right too? Item 2, may I have a motion to approve the payment of claims for the run date of February 1st, 2023?
So moved.
Motion. Thank you. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Abstain.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Abstain. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular following meetings as written and presented? The January 4th, 2023 agenda and regular combined meeting. Motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Move to the ordinances for second reading. 01/2023, 001. Supervisory Personnel 2023 Salary and Wage Ordinance for Monroe Township, Middlesex County. We would like to have a public hearing at this moment. May I have a motion to open such hearing?
So
Motion.
moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing and that is open. Does anyone wish to address the council? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public
Motion.
hearing? I heard motion in my right ear, yes?
Second.
Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, I'm supposed to say. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 01/2023-001, please?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel, Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes, motion is ordinance is adopted. The next ordinance is 01/2023-002. The ordinance fixing 2023 through 2026 salaries and wages for private party billing for police department personnel. Motion to open public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Anyone wish to address us on this issue? Seeing and hearing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 01/2023-002, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Second, thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Oh, yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. We have this ordinance passed. We're moving to 01/2023-003. Ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a traffic control signal located at the intersection of Forsgate Drive and Rossmore Drive in the Township of Monroe, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey. May I have a motion to open a public hearing, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wishing to address us, please come forward now. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 01-2023-003, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Roll call. Thank you.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Ordinance 01-2023-004. Ordinance amending Chapter 76 of the Monroe Township Code entitled Peace and Good Order to include Section 76, parenthetical A, parenthetical 31, 76-1, parenthetical A 31, prohibiting the trespass upon private property for the purpose of tampering with or committing the theft or unlawful taking of a motor vehicle and prescribing the penalties therefor. May I have a motion to open the public hearing on this?
So moved.
Thank you. Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is known. Public hearing is now open. You wish to address the council, please come forward now. Seeing and hearing none, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 01-2023-004, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes, ordinance 01-2023-005. Ordinance amending Chapter 108 of the Code of the Township of Monroe to align with state requirements for electric vehicle supply service equipment, parenthetical EVSE, and make-ready parking spaces. May I have a motion to open a public hearing, please?
So moved.
May I have a second on
Second.
that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wishing to address us on this ordinance, please come forward now. Seeing and hearing none, I'd like a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Sorry.
Ordinances for introduction, item 502-2023-006. An ordinance authorizing the acquisition by negotiated agreement or eminent domain of real property and/or property interests required for a roadway improvement project on Prospect Plains Road from Stoneacre Drive to Applegarth Road. May I have a motion?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Abstain.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. 02-2023-007, a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Monroe in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, appropriating $7,105,000, which is what, thousand, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $6,766,000 bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. 02-2023-008, bond ordinance providing for various open space recreation improvements in and by the Township of Monroe in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, appropriating $4,650,000 therefore and authorizing the issuance of $4,428,500 in bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof. This is phase 1 of township-wide park improvements. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second,
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. 02-2023-009, ordinance authorizing the acquisition of Block 62, Lot 3.05, on the official tax map of the Township of Monroe, more commonly known as 319 Spotswood Gravel Hill Road. Parenthetical is future senior affordable housing. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Council President, I had a couple questions on this.
Of course.
If I can ask the township attorney, or
Lou, I'm
address-
backing up.
I'll
so you
address
can
it to
see.
you, but
We
on
finished the motion.
this property, is it going to be deed restricted? Even though we're going to be the owners?
No, we're buying it without a deed.
So it won't be like, in other words, it will be similar to the veterans property that we're doing there, correct?
Correct. Well, ultimately, when it's developed, it will be deed restricted, but we're buying it free and clear of any.
Free and clear, but once we own it,
Yes, because in order for us to get credit for as affordable housing, it would have to be deed
deed
restricted.
restricted, okay.
Correct.
And number two, a resident asked about the affordable housing. If it's not in place by 2025, if a developer comes to the town, any town, sooner than 2025 with a application, a development that says, well, this is for your future affordable housing, how do we handle something like that?
Well, so as part of our affordable housing settlement, we have something that's called a judgment of repose. So that means a developer can't come and file a builder's remedy lawsuit against us. So remember the way affordable housing cases work. You come in and you have a piece of farmland and it's zoned one house to every 10 acres. And you say, well, I can build affordable housing here. I would like it to be 20 houses to every acre.
Right.
The only way you get that is through an affordable housing litigation, because otherwise the council controls the zoning on the property. So just because somebody comes in and says, I could build affordable housing, since we're protected from lawsuits, we couldn't be compelled to do that.
Because I just, what you said before, if we don't, round three, if we don't commit to the 850, they don't get built. We already committed to it, but if they don't get built, I just didn't want to see another developer to come in.
Doesn't work.
Or
So
a similar developer, same one, come in and say, well, I'm not going to build this one, but I want to build that one.
remember, in affordable housing, our obligation is to create a realistic opportunity for affordable housing. So we've satisfied our affordable housing obligation by rezoning the property in question, all of the properties in question for affordable housing, and they're in our plan. We also have satisfied our affordable housing obligation by, for instance, building the veterans housing. So we committed in our plan that we would contribute money and that we would approve, and we've done all of those. If those houses don't actually get built, it doesn't mean that the clock gets reset and everybody comes in again, because we've still those properties are still zoned for affordable housing, and that's all we're required to do. If technically, if nobody ever built the affordable housing that we zone for affordable housing, Mount Laurel in its basic form prohibits exclusionary zoning. So you would not be exclusionary because you would have your property, the township would be zoned with a realistic opportunity for affordable housing.
See, I think what we've seen in the past here, Lou, is we got the affordable housings, they're approved, but the development did not build, the developers did not build them in a timely manner or to help the society, the community,
Sure.
and help everybody as a whole. It's similar to when you get a mixed use, you get commercial and you get residential, so it's hard to try to make it work for all of us. And that's just the thing that you always look ahead, and I think this is a great plan that we're looking ahead. Our mayor and our administration and our council here are looking ahead for something like this, and it's good for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we now proceed, sir? Where are we?
We need roll call. Ask
We
for
need,
roll call.
we need a roll call. Thank you.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
10.
Okay. 02-2023-010. Ordinance amending Chapter 79 of the Code of the Township of Monroe entitled Police Department Rules and Regulation, specifically Section 79-90.1, entitled Specific Qualifications. This is raising the minimum for sergeant requirement from 3 years to 5 years. May I have a motion, please?
I moved.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Pat, do you want to review these resolutions?
Sure. The next item is resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda. That would be R2-2023 through 060 through R2-2023-091, with the exceptions of R67, R78, R80, R85, and R89.
Thank you. Motion, please.
Motion, please. Yes.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. May we have item 7, resolutions removed from consent agenda for consideration if needed. Motion.
Those would be resolutions 67,
Thank you.
78, 80, 85, and 89.
So moved.
Second on that.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Abstain.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Moving right along with a little bit of alacrity this evening, we move to our administrator's report.
Thank you very much, Council President. Just want to touch base on a few things. Every winter, I do find it important to make the note. It's been somewhat of a milder winter, but this past Friday and Saturday was probably as cold as it gets. And I always remind, I always remind everyone that we have a lot of employees who work outside, whether it be DPW, from time to time, our first responders, and a whole host of folks who work outside. So I always want to say thank you. We will keep our fingers crossed that the winter weather stays somewhat mild for the coming weeks, and we'll see where that takes us. So thanks to our employees. We've begun to work on the budget for 2023, as I mentioned last meeting, and we'll introduce it this spring. We're still on track with our excellent tax collection rate, so thank you to our residents. And our AA plus bond rating puts us in a good position with our refinanced debt. Been working with the state as well, along with the mayor, on fighting for more what's called energy tax receipts to hopefully improve the budget and benefit taxpayers. And I'll just reiterate from last month, because it's been a challenge in other municipalities. Our healthcare was able to stay at 0% versus other municipalities and other entities that have had to go up close to 22, 23%. So we'll stay focused on that as well. As a reminder to all of our residents, we are looking for summer camp help. So we encourage you to reach out to the rec center or stop by the rec center. We'd love to hire some Monroe residents to be part of our amazing summer program. And also, for the first time since COVID sort of hit us, Maker Fest is back. For those of you, that's actually one of my daughter's favorite events, and it's over at the library, and so creative. And that'll be on March 25th. And look forward to presenting the budget later this spring, Council President.
Thank you so very much. Hello.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you to the council. You awarded the bid tonight for the demolition of the empty house on Mounts Mills Road in Buccaloo, as well as the empty house over on Docks Corner and Possum Hollow. We did receive 7 bids on the project. It was very competitive, ranging from $113,000 to over $200,000. So we'll be getting that project moving forward as we get the contracts in order. One other item, Veterans Park ADA restroom and park maintenance facility. With the nice weather, putting aside last week, that's moving forward. We already have the footings and foundations poured, so we anticipate completion June 1st. That's my report.
Thank you very much. We'll move to our council reports. I will begin. Mr. DePiero.
Thank you. So, Doc's Corner, the demo, I went past through over the weekend, and there's some debris and some old fencing that maybe we should clean that up. You see and I noticed that there's not a sign on the building. 'Cause usually you put a sign on the building when it's vacant or any for fire and for everyone that approaches it, police, first responders. There should be some kind of signage there that building is vacant. And I know we own it, so I want to make sure that we follow our rules. Reflectors on guardrails. I brought it up. I know we purchased some, but did anybody install any of them yet? Federal Road is definitely one road that's dark. Prineville Road, if you can get the reflectors on the top. I know we went through a lot of additional on the agenda tonight, additional guardrail. Thank you guys for putting it up and going through it, because there's not a road that you go through that you don't see a barrel, a cone, or one of the bulkheads all smashed up. And just an ongoing thing. Hopefully we get some money back from the insurance companies on the people that damage them. I don't know that. We don't see that, but we see the expense go out. And it's a full-time job, just following guardrails. It really is. And I want to thank you, Officer Mark and Shannon and everybody, the county, for taking care of it. I sent a couple emails, our post office. Nighttime, it's so dark. The parking lot is a tripping hazard. It's like unbelievable that the federal government would allow a building like that be so dark. And I mean, it's bad. And the trees being dead, we brought that up. I mean, let's try to be good neighbors. I mean, I almost feel like going over there, start cutting the trees myself, but my wife used to work there. They know who I am. I'll get in trouble again, and I don't want to do that. But I'll tell you, go past there at night, you can't even see if there's a car in the parking lot, and walking there is even more difficult. And there's something that we could do again. Just want to follow through. This past month, Rupa, the mayor, Linda Greenstein, and myself, we went to the senior center. There was 4 scouts. Eagle Scouts. It was really, really miss Betty, because I know Betty always likes to come to these, and it was really nice to see a big crowd, and a big crowd was there, the families, and it was just a well-organized bunch of people putting together a really good beginning for a lot of them already going to college, and they're off, and they have the missions to doctors and lawyers and everything that they want to do. And it's really, really nice to see that. And I'm glad that it was at the senior center, because it made it feel like we're all coming together as one community. And it was really nice to be part of. I went to, Miriam was there as well, the League of Women Voters, and a presentation for fair funding at the library. There was only 20 people in the audience, but Kyle was there doing the video, and it's live. If you get the chance, I really recommend. They did a great presentation about fair funding, and it's helpful. The League of Women Voters work hard trying to get the message out to the public, and I try to attend whatever I can. Their next event is in this room on February 27th at 1 o'clock. They're going to discuss the referendum presentation. They're going to any questions. I believe they're going to have people from the Board of Education presenting that. And they're going to do a master plan also, and I know Kevin's all excited about that. He can't wait. So he'll be at that one. So we'll be there to see how it goes. February 18th, fire elections. Please support your fire companies. If you can, it's 2 to 9, or vote by mail. And just it's February 18th. I know hopefully it's a warm day, but it's on a Saturday, and it's February 18th from 2 to 9 at your local firehouses. And then on March 14th, we all know that there's a bond referendum from the Board of Education. I just asked that everybody come out on. It starts at 7 a.m. and it's till 8, and there's no early voting, so get to your polls. And get out and vote for March 14th. That's all I have.
Thank you very
The
much.
last thing I want to say is everybody have a happy Valentine's Day.
Yes.
That's
good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman
welcome.
Schneider. Sorry, my mouth got
Okay.
really dry.
On the Commission on Aging, which I'm the liaison, I personally want to thank Karen, who is the present director of senior services. Karen has decided to, she says, retire, enjoy her family and life, and not work for a while. She did a phenomenal job while she was here. I cannot thank her enough. I got to know her personally, so I will miss her, but I wish her nothing but the best. Nancy, who's coming in as the new director, is already on staff, so I know she'll do a phenomenal job. I've worked with her, and she's great. On the human relations, in April, we will be doing a program on the Holocaust. We still have in Monroe a survivor who will be there and a rabbi. There will be more information forthcoming next month, hopefully, on this. I missed the Scout, the Eagle Scout. I had a commitment that I couldn't get out of, so I know what Charlie's saying. These were 4 young men. To reach Eagle, it's unbelievable because I know my son was in Scouting. It's not easy to do, so sorry I missed it, Charlie.
We missed it too.
Yeah. And happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I think if everybody could love and like each other, it'd be a different world. And I would personally like to send my sympathy to Mayor Delina and his wife and family. To lose a parent, I don't care how young, how old they are, you will miss them. So my heart goes out to them. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go to my Councilwoman Siegel, please.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I have a couple updates, but I did want to just quickly mention about the proclamation on Rare Disease Day for February 28th. I just recently was at a panel where I was listening to stories that patients were sharing about having rare diseases like this and how they live day to day hoping and dreaming of a cure or something to make some kind of medication or something to make their everyday a little bit better. So it's really nice to see that we have this day set aside and we're honoring and thinking of people with these kind of diseases on that day. And then I wanted to just quickly talk about how excited I am about the new Parks and Recreation plan that's come out of the master plan for over the next few years. There's some great enhancements coming, and I know there's so many people that have been looking for more pickleball courts, more volleyball courts. So it's nice to see that we have this coming and some playgrounds. I know I've heard from people that live near the community garden how excited they are. And if you haven't had a chance, please do check out the Monroe News because it has a lot of good information about this Parks and Recreation plan. And then on the agenda tonight, there was a cardboard compactor and foam recycling machine that we purchased. And as a liaison to the Environmental Commission, it's really nice to see this because it helps us less impact on our whole recycling system. And we're doing our little part to help the environment. And speaking of the Environmental Commission, they do have a presentation coming up on climate change in New Jersey on February 18th. So if anyone's interested, mark your calendars. It's at the library. And I too, as Councilman DePiero and Councilman Schneider mentioned about the Eagle Scout honor court ceremony, that was wonderful. It was my first time ever attending. And knowing some of those students, I've watched them grow up through the years, and seeing them and their dedication, commitment, and the projects they worked on is truly amazing. And so congratulations to those students and the families. It's a lot of effort from the families too. And community safety tips presentation was done by the police department last week on January 31st, and I attended that. And I have to say it was wonderful. If you haven't attended it, you have another opportunity on February 9th, but they really talked about different scams that I wasn't even aware of existed. So I would highly recommend anyone to attend. It's going to be on February 9th at the community center. And last, I just wanted to welcome Tacos El Tío, one of our new restaurants down by the Gables. So we've been there. It's a very nice restaurant, great food, and a great atmosphere. So if you haven't gone, please do try to support one of our local businesses. And thank you.
Thank you. Council Vice President.
Thank you, Madam President. First thing I'd like to remind everybody, February is Black History Month. So invite all you to join the The Monroe Township Library is celebrating the Black History Month. They have many, many events that are going to take place over the month, both in person as well as hybrid. So if you're interested in any, check the calendar because they do have a lot of good informative things. If you happen to visit the library, they have a Black History Month exhibit in the lobby display case. So I think that's a very nice thing to have. At the risk of sounding like the Grim Reaper, I have some just from. I try to report what's on my mind, and I found this to be an extremely difficult month. We started out, we had 3 mass shootings 3 days in a row. Monterey Park, California, 11 people were killed, 9 were wounded. Half Moon Bay, 7 killed, 1 injured. Lakeland, Florida, 11 were shot. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 12 shot. Charlotte, North Carolina, 3 killed, 4 wounded. They define a mass shooting as when 4 or more people are shot or killed, not counting the shooter. As of February 1st this year, we've already had 49 mass shootings in our country. I just find that that's shameful. And it's almost as if it's now acceptable. Put it on the news, it's not even a big deal anymore. The first time you have a big mass shooting, everyone's all interested in it. Now it's just like another day in the news until something else comes along. And that's how the news goes. You see the mass shootings till something else comes along, till something else comes along. But I find this particularly repulsive, the fact that they are able to have these things happen and not be almost defenseless to stopping them. The problem is there are so many guns out there. I think there might be more guns than people at this point. It seems that way. And whenever there's a mass shooting, the people who are in favor of guns are afraid that their guns are going to get taken away, so they go out and buy more guns. And the people who don't own guns, they feel the need that they have to get guns because they're going to need to do something to protect themselves. It is absolutely crazy. We have a Supreme Court that allows for open carry. Our legislature tried to do their best to ban it in particularly sensitive areas, such as bars. I'm talking about our state legislature, to ban it in bars, restaurants, entertainment facilities, libraries, museums, parks, beaches, rec facilities. That was shot down by a federal court. So people who own guns can now bring them into bars. What could possibly go wrong there? Why is that not just another mass shooting waiting to happen? Restaurants. We've already seen it in entertainment facilities out in Colorado where people come into movie theaters and just start shooting away until they get them. I just find it so tremendously offensive. And I'm watching this past week or so as the new House of Representatives and several new people were on there. And what did I see? I actually saw within a week or two after these mass shootings, members of the House of Representatives are wearing little pins that are the same AR-15 rifles. Where are we? Where are we in this country? I just find it totally, offensive. Now, that's on the front news until what? Until Tyree Nichols is on the front news and we see videos. We see videos of this young man who supposedly was getting pulled over for a traffic offense, who was unarmed, did not have any drugs on him, did not commit any offenses whatsoever, and we watch a police squad that literally beat him to death. We saw people come on the scene. We saw EMS come on the scene and did nothing while the man died in their very presence. And then they start talking about, well, we need to do a better job training our people. This is not a training issue. You don't need to train people to tell them not to beat the heck out of somebody when they're already incapacitated. It's similar to the George Floyd thing. You don't need training to tell someone not to kneel on a guy's neck for 9 minutes when he can't breathe. The only reason I bring this thing up, which I also just found so hard to believe it, and my heart goes out to the family of Tyree Nichols and others who've been victims of this kind of abuse. As I have said many, many times, we are so fortunate to live in Monroe Township, Middlesex County, New Jersey, where we have one of the most professional police forces that I've ever encountered, that I've ever seen. Not only are we one of the safest towns in the state of New Jersey, that some statistics have us as the 6th safest in the entire country, but yet they do it the right way under the leadership of Chief Bianis and every single officer on our force. I can't thank them enough so that we don't have that type of stuff going on in our town. So thank you to our police for what goes on. My condolences to the people who have to deal with this around the rest of the country. And I have one last thing. I would be remiss if I did not mention that there still is a Ukrainian war going on. That was really sort of, in the back of the news with the other things going on, even though apartment buildings were getting bombarded and, people were dying left and right. I don't know if anybody heard the name of this particular individual, but there's a gentleman by the name of Pete Reed. And Pete was the Global Outreach Doctors. He was the one in charge of the Ukraine. He was the Ukrainian country director. And what he was doing, he was actively aiding people in the evacuation of Ukrainian citizens when his evacuation vehicle was hit with a missile, and he died on February 2nd, 2023. 33-year-old man who devoted his life to helping others from Bordentown, New Jersey. So it's not all foreign people that we don't know that are getting killed. A very resident of our own state also got killed. Condolences also go out to his family. It's very scary what's going on in the world out there, but we'd be thankful for what we have, thankful that we live in the great town that we live in, and hopefully we don't have to continue seeing things of this nature. Thank you, Madam President.
You are most welcome. Thank you. I would like to just mention that I met a family who's just returned to the United States after living in Sweden for the last 3 years. And her comment was she was now afraid because there were so many guns and she had not seen guns for the last 3 years in Sweden. So, commentary to what you're saying about the number of guns. Wanted to note for the record that the mayor's wellness event for February, we moved from this chair yoga at the senior center on February 13th at 5 p.m. Other events coming this spring will be Zumba, Tai Chi, and another community bike ride. We also have a free rabies clinic at the community center on March 4th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I didn't wish to leave that out. I'm going to now move to the public comment section. May I have a motion to open public comments, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Remember, please, it's 5 minutes per speaker. You wish to address the council, please come forward stating your name and address for our record.
Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. In your commentary, you forgot to mention the councilwoman in Sayreville who lost her life, and that's close to home. And my condolences as well to the community, to the county, and to her family, certainly.
Thank you for
Resolution R2023, essentially 063 Piazza. This is the third-party affordable, and correct me if I'm making a mistake, third-party affordable housing organization that runs the actual residential.
Right, yeah, so
Right.
they
So-
qualify people and they market the units.
Right. So do we know how many units have been since the settlement how many units have actually been occupied?
Yeah, there actually is, it's on, I believe it's on the website. We did the midpoint review. I think it's been updated. I don't know the number. So I don't know how many units are actually occupied. But we can find that out for you.
Okay.
I don't know.
The other thing is, it's my understanding that it is a lottery. Piazza does a lottery. People apply for residency, and then it's a lottery to get in this housing. And it's not very transparent. Does anybody know? Does anybody go to the lottery when they pull names or do anything?
Well, it's actually really transparent. It's all done pursuant. When the court knocked out COA's regulations on how you decide the number, it left COA's procedural regulations in, and they are the regulations that we have to follow. It's pretty stringent. There's an enormous amount of advertising that's done and outreach that's done. Yeah, it's pretty complicated.
That's not my concern. I get that part. My concern is, how are the people chosen? And they say it's a lottery. I don't see that as being very transparent.
Well,
when does that occur? Who can people be the public be present to see that?
It's project specific, but I can get you the details. I'm happy to get you the details of how it happened. It's not only is it very transparent, it's also strictly in accordance with state law. Piazza does this, and it's not that they do just do our town.
No, I understand
They do it
that.
in
That's
dozens of
that's
towns,
not
and
the
they
issue.
do it the same way everywhere.
Well, it could still be a flawed system. I was at the affordable housing, and I believe, Madam.
Yes, we were there at the same time.
And I asked about, hypothetic or theoretically, if we have someone who applied years ago to get in the affordable housing in Monroe, let's say 5 years ago, they're still on the list, and someone comes in tomorrow and applies for housing based on the lottery, the person who
It
just,
doesn't work that way.
well, then I was misinformed at
It doesn't work that way, 'cause
at that.
it's project specific. So
Okay, excuse me, but let me just finish, because I was at that meeting. So I was misinformed at that meeting, at the Affordable Housing Commission meeting, because that
Can
was
you just tell me
exactly
what you were told? I don't remember hearing that
Well, this
statement.
was a
I was
while-
there.
This was a while ago. You don't have these every week.
It also, I don't think that it's changed, but the answer is that they are each project specific.
Okay,
And there's not like there's a list of people who have qualified in the township, and a spot comes up and they pull a name out of the hat and they send you
Okay,
there. It doesn't work that way.
if you would please give that information to the Affordable
will.
Housing Commission, and next time I attend, or I'll call your office and get that
And
information.
I think, you know what, I think, not only that, I think a great idea would be, and I'll talk to Alan, we'll coordinate it, that we can get it on our website so that
That'd be
people can
great.
click and say, this is because,
process.
this is the process.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, it's so
actually,
important.
in a lot of towns, they're actually having trouble finding qualified applicants,
Well,
which is amazing to me, given the fact that there's a housing shortage.
well, that goes to my next question. Thank you for the segue.
You're
First-
welcome. We work together very well.
There we go. So we are under an obligation to do a minimum of 20% of affordable housing, and the developer gets 80% market value. Is that roughly correct?
The answer is that is generally the breakdown,
Right.
but it's not always specific with regards to
Right.
the project.
Okay.
Correct.
So, well, that's interesting. I thought each project had to have 20% affordable housing. And I read when we were doing the master plan that we could actually do 30% affordable housing and ask for 30% from our developers. Now, wouldn't that go a long way to satisfying our obligation? But it would seem to me that we are reluctant to ask builders to only do 70% to put money in their pocket. And finally, I just want to say I'm not opposed to affordable housing for people in need. What I am opposed to is the amount of money that builders and developers get for market rate, and then absolutely put too many, I think, poor planning in our community. So I'm not opposed to affordable.
So, and let me say, I agree with you, except that COA's regulations are actually 10, 15, and 20%. You remember, a builder's remedy suit is one affordable housing and
There was
four market
something
rate
in our
housing, so it's
master
20%.
plan that said 30%
Well,
that I read.
well,
I think I mentioned it.
I think that what's happening is that in preparation for the next round, that people are starting to, and this is not, remember, the projects that we have are part of a negotiated court
Right.
settlement. And it's actually a lesser number than what what was the number assigned to us. So that's kind of where it worked itself out. But yeah, the answer is that you should ask for more, because the ironic part about this, and I'm sorry for the history lesson, is
No,
that
I agree.
that all comes from, the builder's remedy comes from the Mount Laurel 2, which is a 1980s decision. And it was done on a calculation as to what it would take to incentivize a builder to build one unit, how much profit you had to give them to build 4. My humble opinion is that this is not 1980 anymore, and builders make money off the affordable units, and obviously they make money off the market rate. I am a gigantic proponent of making it be 30 or 40%, but we need the legislature to kick in a little bit and help us here. And we need the core regulations to get straightened out, because ironically, fair share housing, which you would think would be the advocate for building affordable housing, is sometimes the advocate for the builders, and they say, well, you know, they really can't. So when you try to push we can't get fair share housing to get behind us on that. If we could, then maybe we can get judges to get behind us. But I think you are absolutely correct. I really do.
We're having a good day, aren't we?
We are.
Really?
Maybe coffee later.
Anyone else wishing to speak to the council, please come forward. Yes, sir. Your name and address for our records, please, sir.
Hi, Mike Pasquale. I'm here for Block 68, Lot 4129 on Lower Manhattan. Vacant piece of property. We submitted a letter, our planner, Mark Remsa. Excuse me?
Microphone, please. She's having trouble hearing you.
Do I need to start from the beginning? Or
No.
No, it's okay. She's all right. She just wants to hear the body of your,
Yes, please.
pardon?
His address, please.
Your address, sir?
Where I live?
Yes, please.
103 Erica Circle in Robbinsville.
Thank you.
All right, so my planner submitted a letter to all of you and to the mayor on January 10th. We have confirmation on January 17th regarding a zone change request for the property, which was included in the master plan. I don't need to. I know time's critical here. I don't need to go through the whole letter. You're all in receipt of it, and I'm just looking for an update on a timeline. We haven't had any response.
I don't think there is any timeline. I'm not sure it's being considered.
So I mean, I'd like it to be considered. So how do we move forward?
I understand that, but you're requesting a zone change. We have the zoning ordinance is the zoning ordinance, and I don't think that there's anybody on the council that has requested an ordinance. So the answer is there's no timeline on it. I don't think it's being considered.
I could add one thing too.
Mr. Weinberg,
if you'd like.
please.
And Joe could add to this as well. And thank you, Council President. I know in the master plan, there was a comment about evaluating whether this would be necessary to council's
yes.
point, that evaluation would have to take place, and then that evaluation would have to be shared with the council, and then the council could do as they see fit. I don't know if that's an appropriate answer, Lou.
So the answer is your property is owned what it's owned, and there's
now.
not any obligation for the township to change it, or is there a process for a formal quote-unquote application to change it? You made a request, we've taken it under advisement, and that's where it is right now. This is a request that's been made a number of times over the years.
It was made at the zoning,
Yeah, at the zoning board, at the planning board.
planning board.
Joel, correct me if I'm wrong. Some members brought up the concept of looking at a specific area as a potential zone change, and it was added into the master plan that this should be evaluated. But as with all the recommendations in the master plan, it is something that the administration, can move forward on. As we have our recommendations there, we have a variety of recommendations in there, and so as that moves forward, there could be an evaluation of that, which we could then at some point bring back to the council.
But there is no timeline.
Disappointing, to be honest with you. I mean, we've adopted something in the master plan. We've put numerous letters forward. Like you said, this has been going on for years, and there's no resolution.
But it's not. But your property is currently zoned for something, so you can develop it for whatever it's zoned for. I'm sure Mr. Remser, who was the longtime planner here, can explain this process to you. The council's not under any obligation when people come in and just say, gee, I have a piece of property, I would like, a more intense development of it, I would like to have it rezoned. So sometimes governing bodies there's not any will to do that. So the answer is you may be disappointed, but you've owned the property for all of these years, it's zoned something, you can develop it for what it's zoned for. Just there's not a desire right now to make a more intense zoning.
Right, but the underlying thing is it's zoned neighborhood commercial currently,
Mhm.
and it's surrounded by residential applications, so it's actually inappropriate to,
You can make an application to the zoning board too.
right,
Yeah.
we've done that, but they said they can't hear it because if it's the way it's zoned.
No, the zoning board is actually
No.
the place that can grant you they actually have the
Variance.
authority to grant you a variance. I think that what happened is that you didn't make the case for a variance, so you'd have to develop it under its current zoning.
All right, so go to zone. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Welcome. Anyone else wishing to address the council this evening? We have no one else wishing to speak with us this evening. Notice we have a young man in the back. Welcome to the council meeting. It is always a pleasure to see students from the township that are here for a meeting, and we invite you to come back like we invite everyone else.
Motion
May I
to
have a motion to adjourn?
No motion to close.
Motion to close the public portion.